It's rusty from the dampness. One of the rods is loose. An opening of some sort. Perhaps something is missing here. An opening of... The steps can't be used. They're entirely buried in water. The water must have been standing here like this for years. It's full of floating algae and dirt. I think that this is where the water comes in. The hatch is closed, though. I can't move it at all. The bars are chained and padlocked. It can't be turned. I cannot move. Where could it fit? I'll try to stick the rod in there. I can't do it. The rod is too thick. This mechanism probably controls the pumps in the cellar. Surely it hasn't been here since the old days. It appears to be stuck. It appears... It appears to... I'll try to sharpen the rod a bit. That should be enough. This should do better. Okay, I've put the rod in the opening. I'll use the rod as a lever. The hatch has opened, but no water is running. It can't be... It appears... It appears... still seems... It still... There's no point in... An old rod. It will have to do. An old rod. This must be where the water pours out when it gets too high. A part of some mechanism. There is so much algae in the water, the cogwheel hasn't even sunk. How can I get it out? I can't. It's too... I can't... There are some... I cannot move it at all. Richard's acid has dissolved the padlock as if it were made of paper. The water has risen to the brim of the drain channel. It's still too far. I cannot reach it. A cogwheel made of hard. It works. The mechanism is running. The water has drained into the underground system of channels. The way is free. The water is gone, but its stink has remained. No one has set foot down here in ages. This place is so cold, and the silence is eerie. My every step echoes all around. It's completely dark there. This must be James's chest. I have found it at last. He had probably hidden it somewhere before the room was filled with water. Another key. James didn't lie. James's key. Some strange symbols in a circle. The underground certainly had a different purpose in the past than just to keep the water away. My head. I'd better take my medication. I'm sick from this bad air. I'll rest a couple of hours and return later. These horrid dreams feel like déjà vu. Why am I dreaming such awful things? Just 2 days ago, my gloomy morning thoughts were interrupted by Bates' knock at the door.
Sir! Sir, open up! I must speak to you!
Hold on, Bates. I'm there in a moment. What is it, Bates?
They just called from Ashbury regarding a very serious matter. I think it is necessary that you go there as soon as possible, sir.
Why? What exactly did they say?
I spoke with the head nurse. She did not want to tell me what has happened. I am very concerned. Maybe some news of Sir Robert.
Did she tell you anything more?
She did not want to tell me anything specific, sir.
Did you speak with Victoria about it?
No, sir. I didn't want to disturb her. Hopefully nothing much has happened, but it would be good to know for sure.
All right, I'll pay them a visit. In the meantime, keep this whole thing to yourself.
Of course. And, sir, the weather is truly terrible. A vigorous storm is approaching. The sky is entirely overcast as though it were night. I have no previous recollection of such horrid weather. It is very strange indeed.
Going to be a strong thunderstorm, that's all. But thank you for the warning. On the way to Ashbury, Bates's words resonated in my mind. Only the dark silhouette of the Ashbury sanatorium quieted them. I wonder what news of Robert I will learn. Locked. Locked. It's Samuel Gordon. Can you let me in?
Just one moment, Mr. Gordon.
Mr. Gordon, I have terrible news for you. The head doctor is dead.
Robert? What are you talking about?
An officer and a detective were here. It's awful.
How did it happen?
They said they found his body at the old lighthouse. James was sitting right next to the body.
James?
He was just sitting there, gazing. He didn't even try to escape, just kept crooning some melody. I never thought that he would be able to kill someone.
Where is James now? Where did they take him?
Where he belongs, back in his old cell. It's going to be his home for life.
So, Robert is dead. But if James had killed him, why didn't he run away? I'd like to visit James. Can you let me into the main hall, to his cell?
How do you know where his cell is?
Well, Robert was in charge of this sanatorium, you remember? He told me where I'd find James.
Sorry, I did not realize that. All right then. I will let you in. But after what has happened, I cannot let you go in there alone. I will have to go with you.
No problem.
We can go then. You know the way, as you are so well informed. I'll be right behind you. Oh, not this. Wait here. I must fetch a doctor.
What happened? James, what he feared most has happened. He couldn't return to this place. James wrote my name on the wall. Why did he do it? At least he died quickly. At least he died. I recognize that tag. Robert's keys. Someone has plastered over it. Someone has... could use fixing. It's leaking. It could use... It's leaking. James must have taken them away from Robert. It could use... It's I have to examine the cell thoroughly. I can't leave now. I'll try to get the plaster off. Damn, the blade cracked. I can speak with him through the wall. Ralph, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Samuel. Have you come to visit me? Or have you come to visit James?
James? James is no longer here, Ralph.
Why are you saying that? James is here with me. He's always here with me. I can hear his voice. He wouldn't leave me alone here.
I need to ask you about something that concerns James.
Yes, me and Mr. Bubby will help you.
Ralph, when did you last speak with James? Do you remember?
Yes, Samuel.
What did he say? Did he talk about why he escaped?
Maybe, but he was so terrified and was saying such a lot. Was very confused by it all. He kept saying that he hadn't killed him. That's what he was saying.
Robert?
Yes, him.
What else did he say?
He said he knew who'd killed him. That he knew.
The name. Can you remember the name of the person he was talking about?
No. I was confused. He also told me he's saying goodbye and that we would not see each other again. He didn't want to be put in his room again.
Ralph, please, try to remember who James was speaking about.
I don't know. I really don't. He wouldn't speak then, and there was a long silence. I don't like such silence.
All right, Ralph. I have to leave now.
Okay, Samuel. Mr. Bubby says okay.
Ralph was the last one to speak to James, but I probably won't be able to get much more out of him.
What are you doing here? Get out immediately! You have no business being in here.
I set off for the old lighthouse on the Sharp Edge Cliffs, the only possible place where I can find out something about Robert's death. So here's where they found Robert's body. It's too dark. I can't see anything in there. It's too dark. Another symbol. I should make a picture of this one too. There are some coins in it. Done. I can't leave. It's too dark. There's nothing more to be found out here. I'll go to the morgue. Herman may know something new. He probably didn't hear the bell. I'll try again. He isn't answering. Strange. I thought he'd be at home. It's open. I'll have a look around. Where could Herman be? He left the door open, and the morgue too. Strange, indeed. What could have happened here? That expression in his eyes. Awful. Who could have killed him, and why? He's clasping something in his hand. The fingers have stiffened. He's clasping. The fingers have stiffened and cannot be opened in their post-mortem spasm. Turn on the lamp. It's quite dark in here. There are a few plastic bags under the book. I'll take them. There is nothing in them. Is this what I think it is? An old microscope. The fifth symbol. The fifth symbol. Got it. There is nothing in them. They're cold to the touch. The forceps should do the trick. That must be the hair of the murderer. I have to put it into something. The murderer has black hair. James's hair was black as coal. I should go back to the sanatorium and obtain a sample for comparison. The hair that Herman was clenching in his fist. Doubtless the hair of the murderer. There is nothing in them. Someone's ringing the doorbell. I'd better leave quickly. Detective?
Mr. Gordon, what are you doing here?
I've come to see Dr. Herman and, I know what it probably looks like, but I'll explain everything.
What are you talking about, Gordon?
I don't know how to say this. I found Herman downstairs. He's dead.
What?
I went downstairs and found his body on the table.
That is a serious matter. Are you sure?
I know what I have seen, Detective. His body is lying on the autopsy table, with the head off.
With the head off? I must go there right away. Listen, Gordon, when you found him, were you alone? Was no one else with you?
No one.
Strange how coincidence tends to lead you to a corpse.
He was already dead when I came around.
I believe you. I know who is behind all of this.
Really? Who?
That lunatic who escaped from Ashbury a few days ago. Who else? Who else could possibly have committed such things? You remember that boy? And now, Herman.
Disfigured.
A normal person cannot have done that.
That's certainly true, but he hung himself in his cell. I was in the sanatorium today.
So, the murderer's punished himself. Oh well. It's justice, I say.
But you haven't got any evidence.
Gordon, there are several disfigured corpses and a madman was on the loose. You want more evidence? No thanks. Good that you told me about him, Gordon. Now please leave. I've got to go downstairs and deal with this. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Detective. Why would James want to kill Herman? He didn't even know him. I've got to get a hold of a sample of James's hair somehow and compare it with the chunk that Herman was clasping in his hand in his post-mortem spasm. Locked.
Who is there?
Samuel Gordon, please, let me in.
Just 1 second.
Thank you. May I speak with you?
Sure.
Listen, I need to know something. Where is James's body?
Excuse me?
Don't ask, just tell me where it is.
Well, all right, if you must know. We cannot get hold of Dr. Herman. I don't know what is going on. So we placed the body in the old chapel in the graveyard until he arrives. It cannot stay much longer, though. It has to go to the morgue.
That's all. Thanks. There's no a young woman. It's full of... The water in it will be... The water in... won't let me in. He would see me. The boiler man probably would not like it. The boiler man... He's pretty skilled with that shovel. He's pretty...
I haven't got time. What do you want?
Why is the door to the boiler room locked?
I had to start locking it during the day because of that runaway loon. As far as I know, he's the first one to have pulled it off. The institution has a very good reputation in this respect, and they don't want to lose it. That's the way it should be. Loons in and none of them out.
I won't be keeping you any longer.
Good.
The chapel is locked. Locked. The chapel is... James must have taken them away. I can't leave. There's quite... as though... James must have...
What are you doing here?
That's none of your business.
Yeah, you're right. What do I care? You want something?
Can you tell me, why is that chapel in the graveyard locked?
The old chapel. I'll tell you why. It's locked because nobody has any business going in it.
Can you open it for me?
No, I couldn't. Nobody is allowed to go there, like I said.
But you have the key to it, right?
Exactly. And it's going to stay that way.
I have to get into that chapel at all costs. How could I possibly obtain the key? How about you lend me your key? I'll return it in a little while. You could watch my wallet for me in the meantime.
Well, a little extra added to that lousy salary of mine would come handy.
So, what do you say?
No, it's not possible. I can't do it. The head nurse would really enjoy the chance to fry my backside. I can't risk somebody finding out.
Too bad. I'll keep the wallet to myself then. I won't be keeping you any longer.
Good.
He's pretty simple.
Mind your own business.
The boiler man probably would...
have said every...
A common... There is nothing... There's quite a lot. The boiler man probably wouldn't... He's pretty... The boiler man probably... The boiler man... I'll leave him alone. I'll leave... Locked. I can't... As though I... This is the only way to get inside. I have no choice. I don't know what we could talk about. Could use its leap. I must be quiet so I won't get caught. This time, I wouldn't have any explanation. I'm lucky there's no one here. I've got to take advantage of that before somebody comes. locked. I can't go there anyway. How do I obtain the keys to that chapel? I'll have a look around here. I've got to come up with something. I can't see anything. The door of the boiler is very hot. I will get burnt. It stinks. Too bad. No spare keys. Just an old pair of rubber boots. Personal stuff. I'll leave it as it is. These are almost twice the size of my feet. I can't leave now. The boy... It stinks. I soaked it. Now it's... boiler is unbearable. The heat from... The smoke from the rubber would go out through the chimney. That wouldn't help. The smoke from the rubber would go out through the chimney. That wouldn't help. This should attract some attention. Now, I've got to get going. Maybe I went a bit too far with those boots. Hopefully none of the smoke has gotten into the building. It's quite smoky in there. It's quite smoky in there. One cannot breathe in there now. It's going to take a while before the boiler room is aired out completely. Perfect. He left the keys in the lock. I'll borrow them. It's quite smoky. keys to the boiler room. James's body. I need a little hair for comparison with the sample that Herman was clasping in his hand. I need to use something to cut off a little hair. I don't want to touch him with my hands. I don't want... A broken glass. There are 2 big bottles full of chlorine in it. There are 2 big... There are 2... The edges are sharp. Okay, this should do. Where could I have a close look at it? Well, maybe just. I'll go back to the morgue and use Herman's microscope. I'm not leaving yet. I need to find out more. It's set up properly now. I can use it. It's set up The hair that Herman was doubtless the hair. A chunk of hair. I should have a clue. Samples differ. Even I can see that. It wasn't James who killed Herman. But who was it then? Who's got a black? Morris. It's set up properly now. It's empty. Morris isn't here. Where could he have gone? A letter. Strange things have been happening around here. It all began a few days after the funeral of old Mr. Gordon, when his heir Samuel returned to the manor.
His heir Samuel returned to the manor. I haven't got a clue as to what's going on, but when somebody finds this note, I'll be far away already. It seems to me that detective wants to frame me for Henry's murder, so I won't be hanging around. I'm going to go while there's still time. Feel free to keep my last month's wage, and don't bother looking for me. I won't be returning. Morris.
Morris has run away. I knew he couldn't be trusted. What if it was he who committed the murders?